Right. Good afternoon, Kim. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very good. Thank you so much for allowing me to record this portion of the interview. I'm really excited to talk about all the work that you did at your last law firm. What type of law did they do?
They did personal injury, medical malpractice. They also did work comp. They did social security, disability.
Okay.
I think that's it. Yeah.
Okay. And you were there for about 11 years.
Approximately. Yeah. I
Yeah.
started out in pre-suit.
Uh-huh.
I was in that for about 4.5 years, and then I went into litigation, personal injury.
Okay. So was personal injury primarily your focus while you were there, or did you work on anything else?
Mainly personal injury, but I also helped Kim Balk in medical malpractice as well.
Okay, perfect. So why don't you tell me a little bit about, so you said pre-suit is where you started.
Correct.
Okay, tell me
So,
a little bit about what the day looks like there.
so in pre-suit, that was always interesting. When a client came in just involved in an accident per se, I would start out with finding out exactly what happened. How the accident happened. Was it a car accident? Was it slip and fall? And we would get the details. What injuries they had, or I'm sorry, let me back up. When did the accident happen? Was it an auto accident? Was slip and fall? If it was slip and fall, was it in a store? Was it at a home? Um, what time of day? Was it, if it was car accident, was it raining? Of course, in Florida, it wasn't snowing.
Yeah,
um, how many were they driving? Were they a passenger? Because a lot of that, matters.
sure.
Um, their injuries, were they taken by ambulance? Were they driven? So forth, so on.
Yeah.
And then we would find out if the police showed up. Sometimes the police did not show up.
Mhm.
Um, find out if they got the information from the other driver. If it happened in a store, was there a report made? Sometimes the report wasn't made. Did they have a copy? And then we would go with their injuries. Sometimes it was severe enough that they didn't have all that information. So we would go back to that. And then if it was car accident, we would find out the insurance information and we would take it from there. We would
Okay.
let them know that not to worry, that we had their best interest at heart
Sure.
and go from there.
So you have the
Um,
empathy to do that. Now, so the pre-suit portion, that was early on in your career you did that?
yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
I
that was
love that.
early on in the 11 years. Now, so in that firm, what was the next phase after pre-suit?
After pre-suit, then it went into litigation.
Okay.
So we always worked a case in pre-suit as if it was to go to litigation. So we'd make sure that if they had any prior injuries, prior accidents, we would get all that information. We would get all those records in case it did go to litigation, because they would need to know that. So while I was in litigation, that's when we would do the complaint package. Um, the complaint package is, how can I explain that? The complaint package is who we were suing,
Mm-hmm.
which was always the at fault party.
Sure.
Um, and then it would go as far as interrogatories, which are the questions asked. Um, and that package would be sent to defense, the party at fault. That was the investigative part, which I loved that. I had always told them that if they had an investigation department, I would so be involved in that.
Yeah.
But then we would also get all the x-rays, MRIs, CTs, and also we would have, we had our own, not, I would say doctors, but we would do a second opinion on
Mhm.
MRIs and CTs. And I always helped Kim Balk, who was in Med Mal. She would take those and I would help that schedule that. So we would do that on our own.
Okay.
Um,
And then you also, we'll kind of get back to that next career, but I wanted to make mention that you also have your AAS in paralegal studies from Daytona State.
I do.
Okay, congratulations with that. You got a couple awards, Paralegal Club, 2011 and 2012. Who was
Yeah.
that through?
That was at Daytona State.
Okay.
I was in
And who's
the
who?
PR department, which at Rowan Ziffer as well, with marketing when they did their marketing part, like with Bike Week and Biketoberfest, they were big biker attorneys as
Yeah.
well. I would help out with that. Even with our with the 5Ks that they did as well, that they sponsored, I helped out with that too. So yeah, I put myself through Daytona State bartending. Goes back to my youngest son. When he graduated from high school, I graduated and got my degree, so we had that in common. We both
Good for you.
graduated in 2012. Yeah.
That's
So
awesome.
so that's where the PR part came into play at Daytona State.
Okay, I love that. So then you're plugging along 11 years, you're a legal assistant, then you get a promotion or litigation, or you're a legal assistant, then you got promoted to the litigation assistant.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
now the litigation assistant at Ruin Zifra, is that similar to like a lit paralegal at other properties, or do they have lit paralegals as well?
I guess they have lit paralegals. At Ruin Zephyr, there's the lit case manager, and then the case manager had the lit assistant, which was me.
Okay.
And I'm the one that handled like the interrogatories. I don't want to say the grunt work, but I'm the one that, would talk to the client more so than what the case manager did. I would do the investigating,
Yeah.
do the interrogatory, sit with the client. Sometimes they would become overwhelmed. Why do we need that? Why do we got to go back to the past? And I said, well, your life is kind of an open book at this point when we go into litigation. And
Sure.
they didn't always understand that.
Yeah,
So, there again, the empathy would come into play. And that was me. I could talk to people.
yeah, I can tell. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and stop this part of the interview. Before we do end, we talked about it. You can start right away.
Yes.
Okay. And everything in your life is all cleared up. Like you had took off a little personal time, but now you're ready to get back at it. Good attendance, all that good stuff, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right, great.
I'm
I'm
ready
gonna
to
go ahead
go.
and stop this portion. Don't go anywhere. Just a moment.